Swede Fighters.
Alright, what's up everyone? This is Chris from Swede Fighters, and I'm just gonna give you guys a little short video on how to make your own thumbnails. So, being a channel of subscriber amount in the 3 digits and having views over 7,000, I feel perfectly competent to show you guys how to do it, how to make it big on YouTube. Joking aside, it's actually pretty important what kind of thumbnails you do. I'm gonna show you guys some of our really old ones, and I'll tell you a little bit about what the problem might be. So here's a thumbnail for the upcoming show Alien Isolation. David's been photoshopping it, and hopefully he's going to put some he's gonna put up a little video on how he shops in my face and stuff like that. He shops everyone in. So basically I use a template that's 1280 times 720. That's exactly the same size as our video. So that means it's also the perfect size for a thumbnail. I mean, it's in this kind of scale. Going into resolution scales like that, it's a little bit, frankly, unnecessary. All you need to know is that it's 1920 by 1080 and 1280 by 720. You can see the height adapts to itself right away here. Then you also have 720. No, wait, no, that's wrong. Is it 960? Yeah, times 540. But we're keeping it at 1280 times 720. Now I'm using Photoshop, but most image editing software are pretty much the same. And we're using layers. Using layers is some pretty basic stuff, but you need to know how to do that to make the most out of this. So we're gonna just remove all the extra stuff. This is the picture that David photoshopped. So we're gonna go way back to some of our oldest thumbnails. So this is the basic Swede Fighter background that we used, and back when we would just put the game logo, maybe with some little edits here. We would also put ourselves in there. So this is not, I mean, doing a thumbnail like this is not so bad, but the problem, especially if you have stuff like this with the face on, problem is it doesn't really draw attention from what I've learned. I mean, this is very much a small part of making a successful video, but this is just some basic stuff to make your channel look a little bit better. So around Batman Arkham Knight, which was quite a while ago, we started doing our own like little photoshops. We had David being Batman here, Toby being Robin, whatever. I photoshopped myself into Call of Duty, and we did some more, like we experimented around. But then around, let's see here, I think it was Bloodborne, I don't remember, we started really going into, oh yeah, Last of Us. That's where we really started going into photoshopping ourselves into. So you see our Dark Souls 3 there, but that was just a temporary one until we could get a Photoshop from David. We still don't always use ourselves in these pictures, but it does make for a little bit more of a dynamic picture. They have to be fairly easy to see from a distance, because if you zoom out, your thumbnail is probably going to be around this size when people look at it. And if it's cluttered, people won't really see what's in it. I mean, ours aren't perfect, but the kind of general principle is you want to have people see which show it is, you want to see what kind of game it is, and maybe have something fun in it too. It's kind of like a small Easter egg. So we started doing, let's see here, Uncharted 4. Dave shopped himself in there. We got some Overwatch. We got Metal Gear Solid 5. And here's where we started doing, like, Dave is basically the guy who shops most stuff. I've done a few of them, but he's definitely way better at it than I am. So if you zoom in here, you can see there's me, there's Toby, there's Dave. And I'm not going to go into detail how you Photoshop stuff. That's really for another video. But let's assume we're gonna be playing Overwatch, and we don't really have the shopping skills or the high-res photos. So what we do is we Google Overwatch, and we're gonna just go for images. Here we go. And if you click a picture, you will see how big it is. So you see here 600 times 315 pixels. That's way too small. If we import this, let's see, copy image. It's gonna look like this. That's not good enough. So we're gonna have to find something big. There's a couple of ways to do this. You can either look here, but it's kind of a mixed mixed bag really for what you're looking for. Some of these, I think this is the one we're using for our Overwatch together, and it's fairly big, so it's easy to work with. But you can also go into search tools and let's see here, size. You go anything that's larger than anything that's larger than 1600 times 1200 should give us a lot of good high-res pictures to work with. So we're gonna do a McCree run. Let's say we're gonna go a McCree run. So not a very good quality picture, even though the resolution is high, but fuck it, let's go with it. So either preferably you save the image here in documents or whatever, or you just copy it. You right click, copy, you import the picture, you copy paste, you paste it into Photoshop. And this is your basic first layer. Now, as everyone know, if you have a channel, you should have a logo. Could be really anything. For this, we're gonna have McCree hat. Let's see if we can find a good picture of that. Ooh, that's yikes. He doesn't look very nice with his hat. So we don't really have anything transparent. Okay, is that a female McCree? His legs are weird. Okay, we got a bunch of... You really shouldn't use stuff made by other artists. If you use stuff made from a game that's... Oh, look, here's McCree with no armor on. But we're gonna... what are we gonna use? We'll use this one. It's pretty good. So you see here, this is very important. This guy has a transparent background. That's super useful for us. The way you can see that is if there's a bunch of squares behind there. That means it's a PNG, most likely. Could be a GIF too, but PNGs are the best. So you don't really see the transparent background here. The problem with PNGs is that if you just copy paste, you're going to get a black background or a white background, depending really on what kind of picture it is. So you want to have to save the image. Let's save it McCree portrait here in my documents. We're going to open it up. Let's see, libraries, documents, McCree portraits. So we got him, and he's kind of semi-transparent. Now you have a logo for YouTube, and the logo is kind of square, or your icon or whatever. So we're just gonna make a square here. The way I do this is I have the selection tool. I hold Shift, and so that means it makes a square. I hold Shift and drag with the mouse, and it makes a perfect square. I'm just making a logo from scratch here. Presumably you already have a logo, and okay. I pasted him in here, and move him over here, shrink him a bit. So we're gonna go into the edit. Edit is for the current layer, and the current layer is this picture. We're gonna shrink him a bit. So edit, transform, scale. Scale is size. So I'm gonna make him this big. Apply. And OE Pro. Oh, oops, text is too big. So this is our Pro MLG Overwatch channel. Call ourselves the OW Pro. Right, as you can see, the text is perfectly white. I'm going to show you a neat little feature. Super easy to use. You just right-click the layer. You get the blending options. Could be different depending on what kind of image processing software you're using. But you're going to go with stroke. Now I've set my stroke to be white, but you can change it to black, and you get a nice fat little outline here, which you can change however you want. If you just want to have it really small, you can go with really small. You can make it big and fat and sassy. So this is our logo up here in the corner. Looks super professional. Everyone knows the McCree is for MVP only. All right, so here's our thumbnail. It's not really done yet, but let's go to YouTube and see how a thumbnail looks like when it's done. So you see here in the bottom corner of a thumbnail, you usually see the timestamp for how long the video is, and that's gonna get in the way if you put stuff in the bottom corners. This area here, it's off limits. Don't put stuff there unless you want it to be blocked by the little time thing here. Generally, the eye of a viewer goes from the top left to the bottom right, like it goes over there on the image. So you wanna, well, you have for example, JonTron here. He put himself in here, and he has what kind of game or what he's watching or doing. Are you afraid of the dark? The Zoo Ray is kind of pig here. Puts that in the way. Now, everyone here knows that Overwatch, this is McCree from Overwatch. But if you want to really drive it home, you go, let's say, Google Overwatch logo. And just to make sure we get the transparent version, we go with PNG. That's going to give us a logo that has a transparent background. And we want to go with the one that says Overwatch, because everyone knows the viewers are not super bright. I'm going to name it Overwatch there. And, oh, okay, I already had a folder named Overwatch. Overwatch, there we go. I name it Overwatch. And again, we're going to open it, because we can't import it right away, or we're going to get a black background. Copy it, and blam! Copied it and pasted it right in here. Again, this doesn't look super nice because there's a bunch of colors in the background. So what we do is we go to blending options and we go stroke. We can have it white. Actually, that looks probably better than black. I don't know, it's a matter of taste. I would not suggest using anything but black and white for your outlines. As you can see, it kind of really doesn't work with other colors. I mean, unless that's part of your style, I guess. See, you don't really want to have anything that's close to the hue of what you're outlining, because it's going to kind of blend together. If you go like this, you can see that they're fairly, like, they're pretty close to each other. So if you go like this, it doesn't look that great. Let's go with black. Black's always a good option for this. All right, cool. We got a logo, not really positioned in the middle. I'm going to give you guys a little trick on how to do that too. So you can drag, if you have rulers here on the side, if you have that in your editing tool. Otherwise, you can go to View, Rulers, Control R. You just want to drag this down, and it's going to lock itself to the middle of the picture. Like it can still be moved, but it's going to like hook onto the middle of the picture. So I want to do that, and we're going to do that from the side, which I've already done, as you see. Now we have a middle point. So when we drag this picture, the picture also has a middle point, which is here. So it's going to automatically hook on to the middle. So we're worried about the middle line. We want to have this thing in the middle of it. So now we can just go down, and this is definitely going to be in the middle. And again, this is not a super good position to place it, because the eye is going to go from here. A bunch of empty space over here. That's easily fixed though. As you might have noticed in our videos, we put our number up here or down here, depending on the composition of the image. All right, now we're gonna just very cluttered in the bottom, and we put the logo there, so we're just gonna put it up here. We're using a font called Berlin Sans FB, which is I like it. I like the look of it. And as you can see, we've already put the stroke effect on it. This is gonna be episode number 1. Just put that there. And yeah, it's practically done. It doesn't look very nice. Honestly, I mean, it's obviously going to be a McCree-centric episode. We got our channel, OV Pro. Might as well call him McPro. We got McCree here. It's about Overwatch. And it's episode number 1. So you just save it. And what you want to do is you want to save it as a PNG. PNG is generally the preferred format, or JPEG, but PNG is better. PNG 24. It's slightly bigger than JPEG, but it's a good format to save. I'm gonna save it Overwatch 01. Boop. Right, so that's literally how you make a thumbnail. And when we make one, I'm just gonna delete all the shit that we put in here and here. Let's say we want to make a logo for Fallout, so I'm gonna delete all of this. We have where's that picture? It's this one. Delete layer. Okay, so we start out with an empty one. We wanted to do Fallout. For some reason, it's been pulled to the side, so we're just gonna. Dude. Okay, so it's 1280 times 720. You can see David shopped himself in here. This is kind of a subtle little edit he did. Very stylistically clean. Now, we used to do like this. We would put ourselves in here. This is stuff my wife drew. But we don't really do that anymore. It's just for the intro. So we have a little logo, and I have a couple of pre-made positions. Honestly, I would have preferred to have the logo up here right now and have the episode number down here. Still kind of cluttered. It doesn't look super good, but there's really nothing I can do about it. I could try to put something up here, but it's going to clash with the Fallout 4 logo. You don't really want stuff flowing into each other. That doesn't make it look clean. Yeah, I think this is how we do it. We might have the number. No, I think this is pretty much how we do it. All right, and we're done. So I already have all the stuff done. All I do is import the artwork, David, and I just smack our logo on it and the episode number. And I save it. And as you can see, we have quite a few thumbnails. We had a lot more, but I've gone through and deleted a few of the old ones, put it up on the server. We have a private server. Preferably, by the way, when you're editing videos and doing stuff like that, you want to put all your stuff on one hard drive if you have or partition. I'm kind of lazy. I put a lot of stuff in extra stuff or graphical assets, but honestly, just know where stuff is. If you have it all over the place, you're just gonna spend most of your time looking for stuff. Here's Tiny Toby, by the way. Yep, we're gonna open Tiny Toby. Oh no, shit! I just replaced Tiny Toby. Well then, we don't really need them anymore. And yeah, that's about it. We use a lot of assets we gather online, like for memes and stuff like that. Make sure you have the rights to use it. If you're monetizing, you might get in trouble if you're using official stuff. It really depends on who owns it. And YouTube has a clever little copyright notice, like they will check all your content, and if they find audio or video that doesn't belong to you, that's already been registered to someone, they're gonna file a copyright claim on that, and they're gonna notify the person owning the copyright, who may have already set it so that they get monetization of your video, they get the profit, and you can dispute that. I should probably save that for another video, but it's a little bit iffy there. I mean, someone already claimed that they own the right to the opening of Fallout 4, which is interesting because they were not Bethesda, they were a Polish YouTube channel. I contested that claim and said, no, you're not the owner of Fallout 4, and they, just pulled the claim back. Someone also claimed that they own the copyright of the song we use in the ending, which is Maybe by the Ink Spots. Now that song was released in 1940, and according to American copyright law, that means it's actually public domain. So I'm allowed to use it. It's kind of iffy if I'm allowed to use a later recording, but I'm fairly sure that the recording we're using is from 1940. So copyright stuff can be a bit iffy, and if you have a Let's Play channel, you might want to be very careful with monetization, because worst case scenario, your channel might actually get taken down. If you have too much stuff that you don't own and you try to make money of it. But I'm getting off topic. This is our first short video in how to make stuff. And again, if you're using an image editing software, there's really not a lot you need to be able to do. You need to understand layers. You need to understand some basic selection tools. You gotta pick a nifty font. Again, this is a pretty good one. It's very obvious what it is. And just, go do whatever you want, just make it your own stuff. Don't draw. Oops. Yeah, don't draw on your things like whatever, your thumbnails. That doesn't look good. I can show you just before we go. I'm gonna go to my channel. You can see how many subscribers we have, not a lot. So we have like 600 videos, but if you go all the way back to the first ones, this is not even close to the first ones. Wow, so many videos and so few views. You guys should watch more of our videos. Here we go. Like, these are very nondescript. They don't really tell us anything except what kind of game we're playing. So unless you're familiar with the game, it won't really tell you anything. Soma, what's that about? What's a horror game? It's not very obvious unless you have like a little photo there. So if we look at our Resident Evil Let's Play, which I think is a good one. Sorry, I've been eating McDonald's. Resident Evil is way, way, way back. Here we go. You can see Toby looks terrified. And the thing is, if you're on an iPhone or an iPad, you actually have to manually start the episode, if I'm not wrong. Which means you're gonna see a much bigger version of this little thumbnail. And that's why it's important to put in stuff, even though it might not be very obvious when you have it in this size. When you get them on your iPad or whatever, it's going to be way more obvious what it is. We generally tend to try to upload our thumbnail pictures to our Twitter channel as well. So you might want to check that out if you want some more inspiration. And I mean, hopefully David will be uploading a Photoshop episode soon on how he shops in our faces. It's not really that hard once you learn it, but it does take some getting used to. But don't really go for anything too difficult. Just put in a picture of what you're playing. Put in your logo. You don't really have to, but if you have a nifty logo, you could put that in, and then the episode number. And yeah, we put Swede Fighters there and the episode number there, like I said. So, hope you guys learned something new, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye.